Hello learners, welcome to the second lecture on Introduction to BIM. In this lecture, we will be going through some of the important BIM concepts that actually are practiced in the AEC industry. Okay, so let's get started. Now we can see here the D in the BIM. The topic here is the D in the BIM. So the D here stands for the dimensions. BIM has its own dimension, as you can see here. There is 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D BIM. The dimensions are not restricted only to these, but the global BIM experts are researching and finding out ways to adopt and implement BIM that goes up to even 10D. Okay, so we'll just have a quick glance on what this D in the BIM stands for. Starting with the 3D. 3D includes a comprehensive model used for presentation, visualization, creating sets of drawings. The 2D, as you know, deals with only two planes, that is X and Y axis, but the 3D has additional plane, that is the Z axis, which is nothing but the elevation. Okay. The 4D deals with the time factor. Assigning time parameter to the existing 3D model will result in achieving a 4D model. The time parameter can be linked with the help of Microsoft Project, Primavera, or simply by using an Excel sheet. The 4D helps us to cover, 4D helps us over the traditional planning activities by adding a visual aspect to it. We can monitor the site activities on time basis and have a visual comparison between the actual and the uh, planned work using the 4D BIM. Okay. Now the 5D involves the cost aspect of the project. Assigning cost to the 3D elements can help us obtain a 5D cost model. Using the 5D cost model, we can have a one-click access to the cost estimation of the project and can also have the supporting model-based quantities too. Any changes in the model are automatically reflected in the reports and schedules that are generated. So there is a saving of lot of manual work and potential and any potential data entry errors. Okay. The 6D involves with the sustainability part. Sustainability concept is rather dependent on the energy analysis study. In sustainability or the 6D analysis, the thermal performance of the materials that are used in the model are analyzed. We can compare the performance for different material based on their application in the model as well as their actual geographical locations too. For example, if I compare a wall, if I have two different walls, for first wall, I will be using a insulation of air, that is a cavity wall. There will be a cavity, that is air, in between the two parts of the wall, that is a cavity wall, and the other wall would be with an insulation of glass wool. So using these two different material or set of wall properties, I can analyze both of them for a set of conditions and therein achieve means arrive at a outcome like which type of insulation is better for my project, my region, and also compare the cost aspect as well. Okay. Now the 7D. 7D works on the operational maintenance part of the BIM. 7D is all about operations and facility management by building managers and owners. The dimension is used to track important asset data such as its status, maintenance operation manuals, warranty information, technical specifications, etc. to be used at a future stage. The benefits of 7D is optimized asset and facility management by from design stage to its demolition stage, that is overall life cycle of the project. Simplified and easy replacement of parts and repairs anytime during the entire life of the building. Streamlined maintenance process for contractors and the subcontractors. Okay, this was all about the D that are involved in the BIM. That is the dimensions of the BIM. Okay, let's move ahead. Now we will deal with LOD in BIM. The LOD stands for, means there are actually two references of LOD. The first one is level of detail and the other is level of development. So the level of detail deals with the graphical representation of the object. Okay. And level of development not only deals with graphical visualization or representation of an object, but also it involves information of the object that it deals with. Okay. There are two different concepts of LOD or references of LOD rather, and both has a broader both LOD, that is level of detail, and level of development are two broad concepts. Okay, one deals with the graphical representation, other has graphical representation as well as the information factor assigned with it or associated with. Okay, you can see here there are different stages of the different stages that are involved in the BIM process. Like we have LOD 100, LOD 200, LOD 300, 350, 400, 500, likewise. The lower LOD deals with, like you can see, 100 deals with pre-design stage, 200 deals with schematic stage, 300. As the LOD increases, the level of detail, rather we can say the representation as well as the information part of the object or the model as an entire entity, that goes on increasing. Okay. As we move ahead to design and development, the level of graphical representation and information increases. Construction documents, LOD 350. There is addition of information as well as graphical representation as we move ahead the LOD or the BIM stages. Okay. To understand this in much clearer way, we can study or we can visualize this image. So if we go for a low LOD, there is no need of actual geometry to be present, like the LOD 100. Only a symbol and its name is enough. As we go for higher LOD, we require a basic geometry like its width, depth, height, and a short description. As the LOD increases, the make and other information along with a precise geometry is added here. And as we move to even higher LOD, further more information and graphical representation is enhanced, as you can see here. So this image gives us a clear indication or a clear representation of how LOD works in BIM. Okay, let's move ahead. These are few of the typical file formats that are used while working on Revit. The Revit project file has an extension of .rvt. This is very important while dealing with any Revit project. Revit template file has an extension of .rte. Revit family file has an extension of .rfa, and Revit family template file has an extension of .rft. So we will just have a quick glance here, and we can have a much more detailed study when we deal with actual tutorials based on Revit. Just to have a clear idea as we are going through the concept, we should be in a position to understand or in a position to know what are the extensions or what are the file formats that are typically used in a Revit project. Okay. So this was just a basic glance. Now, the last concept that we are going to see in the introductory part of the BIM is BEP. The BEP stands for BIM Execution Plan. A BIM execution plan is crucial because it provides a framework for coordinating all people, processes, and the tools that are involved in a BIM project. Having a well-defined strategy in place helps ensure that every involved understands their roles and responsibility and knows what BIM success looks like on the project. A BEP is also the first step to avoiding cost and time-consuming mistakes during the construction. Like how we can have a BEP, like we can start by gathering information about the project, such as the scope of the work, the schedule, and the budget. Then we can have a list of key objectives for the project. Next, identify how BIM can help to solve these objectives. The roles and responsibilities of those involved can be determined in the BIM execution plan as well. Once it's done, then determine the deliverables that are needed to be produced that the client actually requires. Then to achieve or to obtain these kind of deliverables, what software or what technology is to be used, that is to be worked out. And after all that is done, a specific timeline for the project and certain milestones for the project are set up. So these all are included in the BIM execution plan. Okay. So with this, we conclude the introductory part of the BIM. From the next lecture, we will actually jump into the Revit software and see how Revit works. Thank you.